Hi everybody, welcome back. So good to have you here today. I think that you're going to enjoy today's video. It's a little bit different than normal. I'm showing 3 freezer meals, 2 of which are dump and go crock pot meals. So it's kind of like a double. If you enjoy a freezer meal, yes. If not, then you can just make it as a crock pot meal. So I have a few of those to show you today, and so that's something a little bit different I don't do real often. And then I've got just some of our normal meals that we've had around here, including a family night, which was really fun and yummy as well. So as always, you guys, I am so glad you're here. And that being said, let's get right on into the video. Hey guys, I'm getting ready to make a couple freezer meals, so I thought I would just show you what I'm putting together. These are ranch chicken tacos. I just wrote on the front of this Ziploc bag the instructions for when this comes out of the freezer. So let me show you how I'm going to put this together. Okay, the recipe calls for 2 pounds of boneless, skinless chicken breast. That's pretty much what this is here. It calls for a package of taco seasoning. I actually have this one that is pork carnitas street taco seasoning, but that is what I'm using because that's what I have. And honestly, the seasonings in this will be great on any type of Mexican meal. Now, I don't make freezer meals really often, and I don't have those cool handy dandy stand-up thingies that you pin your bags in, but guess what? This will work just fine. Okay, got 1 package of that in. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of dry ranch seasoning. So I'm gonna go in with this Hidden Valley Ranch that I have that's loose, and I'm gonna eyeball about 2 tablespoons in here. So here we go, eyeballing. That's about 1 and about 2. Maybe a little bit more. All right, got that in there, and then it calls for a 14-ounce can of fire roasted diced tomatoes. I saw another recipe that calls for salsa, and I have a jar of this paste salsa fresh, so I'm gonna put in, this is a 16-ounce, so I'm not gonna put in quite the whole thing. You know, I actually am. These are, I actually am. It's not gonna hurt anything. So in goes this jar of salsa. Get it all in there. And then you want to just get the air out of this as best you can. Give this a little massage. And then what you do when you are ready to have this, pull it out of your freezer and thaw it, so you can just throw it in your refrigerator the night before if you want. And then it goes in the crock pot on low for 4 to 5 hours. You shred it up and serve it on tortillas or taco shells. You could put this on nachos, whatever you would want to do. So this freezer meal is ready to roll. I've got all these seasonings massaged around here, and I'm going to lay this flat in the freezer. And of course, if they're not massaged around just perfect, doesn't matter. The whole thing's going to come out and go into the crock pot. So double checking this, sealed nice and tight. And here we go. We have a freezer meal ready to pull out and throw in the crock pot, shred up, and serve on tacos. How easy is that? And you can only imagine how flavorful this will be. So here's the first one. The next dump and go type freezer meal I am making would be with these pork chops, and it's called creamy crock pot, or crock pot creamy ranch pork chops, something like that. So it calls for 6 pork chops, just a few other ingredients. I have my bag labeled all over again with what it is and the cooking instructions. So let's get going putting this one together. Okay, this recipe, I said probably already, calls for 6 pork chops. These are nice big thick ones, which I think is great for the crock pot. It calls for 4 tablespoons of butter. So I've got the butter in there. Of course, with these dump and go crock pot meals, you just throw it in the crock pot and the crock pot does its thing. Now, I've actually done this recipe here. Hang on. There we go. I've actually made this recipe before, and there's plenty out there that call for either cream of chicken or cream of mushroom. Either way, I did it before, I'm pretty sure, with the cream of mushroom. Hang on. Okay, like I was saying, cream of mushroom or cream of chicken. Now, there are some people who are very morally opposed to any type of cream of soup, and if that is you, I'm sure you already have a recipe that you follow to make your own from scratch. I am not morally opposed to cream of soups. In fact, I like them just fine. I think they're great helpers for recipes. So yeah, that's my hot take on that. So if you don't like cream of soups though, make your own or skip these entirely. But those of you that do, oh, you know what I forgot in here? Because I'm just talking about my cream of soups. This needs some dry ranch. It calls for 1 packet, which is I think 3 tablespoons. So let's just open this thing back up and get the ranch, because that's where the seasoning is coming from. So 3 tablespoons. 1, 2, 3. There we go. So let's start over again. Get this all sealed up. And anytime you put anything in your bags that have bones, just be gentle. You don't want to puncture your bag. But if you do, you can just slide it down in another one. And like I said on the last one, these crock pot dump and go style recipes, once they freeze and they dump in the crock pot and it starts cooking, everything that's in this bag will start dispersing throughout and everything will get good and covered and it'll come out just great. So here is another meal for the freezer. Next up, I am making the cheesy ham hash brown casserole. So here is my bag of hash browns. It is a 30 ounce. So you want to put that into a large mixing bowl because we're going to combine a few things in here with this. So frozen hash browns in. I am also going to add in, per the recipe, it calls for 2 cans of cream of potato soup. This is the first time I've ever bought this, and of course the first time I've ever used it. So this is going in the casserole next. All right, I have my 2 cans of cream of potato soup in. It calls for 16 ounces of sour cream. This makes a really, really nice size casserole. Of course, you could have this as your main meal. It has ham in there, of course, cheese, potatoes. But anyhow, all right, so 16 ounces of sour cream. Now I need 1.5 cups of Parmesan and 2 cups of shredded cheddar. I'm just using the shaky cheese because that's what I have. Not quite 2 cups of cheddar, but almost. All right, now we are gonna get our ham chopped and then we're gonna give this thing a mix. It's gonna be a workout. Now I completely forgot to show you this as it was all packaged up, but I put it in a disposable baking pan and covered it with saran wrap and then covered that with foil. Put the instructions on the top for this one. These are all going to our son and daughter-in-law. They just had our newest grandbaby, our 7th grandson. He's a couple months old now, and I just wanted to make her some freezer meals that will be helpful. She's a homeschooling mama. This is their 3rd son, so I knew this would be helpful for her. Next up, we're going to roll right into family night. I'm going to show you all of the things that I put together for family night. And so we're going to start off by making the dessert. I made that early in the morning, so I'm going to show you that first. Then I'll move in to showing you the other things that I made. Okay guys, I'm making I'm making M&M cookie bars. I saw these on Lynette Yoder's channel years and years ago, and I've always thought I would make them and I never have. So you start off with 2 cups of flour, and that is not flour, 2 cups of oatmeal, 1.5 cups of flour. I'm using self-rising because that's what I have. This is a 1/2 cup measure. 1, 2, 3. Calls for 1 cup of brown sugar. And it calls for 1 cup of butter melted. You pour this over top, mix this, the mixture will be crumbly, she says, and you put 3/4 of this mixture in the bottom of a 9 by 13. So here is our butter. It says to press this mixture into a bottom of a 9 by 13, and you bake this for just a few minutes at 325, maybe it's 10-15 minutes, something like that, and then you build on top of this layer. So this is looking pretty good. Okay, my oven is ready. And her notes on this says, do not overbake. She said that's the worst thing you can do to these is overbake. So I'm gonna follow her guidelines on this. While that is baking, I'm gonna get the next 2 things mixed together, which is 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. I'm just mixing this in this bowl that I melted the butter in. And 1/3 cup of peanut butter. That looks about right. I don't know about you, but just this mixture right here is pretty much heavenly. So you can't go wrong with peanut butter and sweetened condensed milk, I'm pretty sure. All right. You want to pour that mixture on top of what you just pulled out of the oven, and then we're going to put it back in the oven for just a little bit longer. I don't have the times right in front of me here, but as always, the recipe will be down below in the description box. I was very careful not to overbake, but you know how it is. Everyone's oven is different. I felt like maybe mine could have gone for like maybe 2-3 more minutes, just to be a little bit more set, but all in all, it was just fine. It was just the middle that I felt like was maybe not completely set as well as the outside. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. So after you get that peanut butter, sweetened condensed milk mixture on, you want to put some topping in the center. She recommended mini chocolate chips and mini peanut not peanut M&Ms, mini M&Ms, or just the M&Ms. I did just the M&Ms. So I got a nice layer on there, and then you take what's left of the oatmeal mixture and you crumble that across the top. And so yeah, this was really, really delicious. So easy, quick to come together, and we really enjoyed it. And of course, for family night, anything that has M&Ms in it is sure to be a winner with all the little boys. They thought it was pretty good too. And here it is out of the oven after it's completely baked up. You can see a little corner missing. I had to try it. This one's a really good one. I'm gonna make a baked ravioli. I am starting off with this little package of cheese ravioli from Aldi. It is an 8.8 ounce package. I'm gonna use this jar of Classico vodka sauce, and I'm gonna use mozzarella cheese. This is kind of a second pasta dish for tonight because 1 9 by 13 of a dish is not quite enough on family night. So this is kind of our secondary pasta dish for tonight. This is gonna be easy peasy. I've never done exactly this recipe, but I have done one with ravioli before, like the Lazy Man's lasagna. It's really, really delicious. So let's get started on this. I've got my baking dish sprayed here, and I'm gonna go in with about half of this sauce. I'm gonna layer in all of this ravioli, and it doesn't need to be fancy in any kind of way. Just gonna throw it in there. It's gonna be covered with cheese. Kind of separate a few of these out. Come in with the rest of the sauce. A little bit of water to rinse out the jar. Take a spoon and go over. Looks delicious already. I used to love ravioli, Chef Boyardee ravioli as a kid. That was always a fun little lunch. Sometimes my mom would buy that. Okay, I'm gonna cover it with mozzarella cheese. I did not shred this myself this time. Aldi did the shredding for me. A little bit more. As much cheese as you want to put when you're making it. And then I'm going to put just a sprinkle of Italian seasoning, not a bunch. And the recipe said, the one that I looked at several, but most recipes said you could make this and freeze it. You can also make it ahead, put it in the refrigerator to bake it the next day. I'm making mine just a couple hours ahead. I'll cover this and put this in the fridge until time to bake. The thing I put together earlier in the day is some quote-unquote homemade ranch dressing. I used this hint of lime, Duke's, and just followed the directions on this ranch seasoning. Got that made, and then here is dinner. This is the baked ravioli. This was a huge hit. It went super quickly. The little boys absolutely loved this and asked for more once the pan was empty. So something so easy, but it was a huge hit, very delicious. And then our main dish was this cheesy chicken spaghetti, Rotel chicken spaghetti. I did not film making this, but I need to. It's a spaghetti with chicken, peppers, Rotel, and Velveeta. It's just, oh, it's a family favorite, so I'm gonna have to show that sometime for sure. My head was just not completely in the game this day, but here's the spread, the garlic bread, here's the big salad that I made. Everything was just really delicious. Take a look at these good looking fillets. Oh my, they melted in our mouth. They were so good, but I'm not going to spend much time talking about those. You guys, if you've been here long, you know we raise our own beef, and we have thankfully a freezer full of beef to choose from, and my husband is a steak guy, so we have steak pretty often around here. I really want to show you are these potatoes. These are Yukon Gold potatoes. I did mine in the air fryer, but you could also do them in the oven. Easy peasy, and they literally melted in your mouth. I'm a huge fan of the gold potatoes. I love the gold potatoes. James said these potatoes were so good. I think you should make these all the time. He especially loved them as well. So anyway, I just went in, tried to keep them about the same size, diced those up, and later I decided to add in some onion. I didn't show myself getting that onion prepared, but I put that in as well. Just put some oil on them, put them in the air fryer, and then Parmesan cheese, salt and pepper at the end. Well, the Parmesan cheese is at the end. I'm telling you, these were so good, and they were 15 minutes in the air fryer. Actually, this seasoning here I got from Aldi. I think it's called butter garlic or something like that. It's a really good seasoning, pretty versatile. So I used that actually instead. Well, no, I put salt on at the end. Oh my goodness, you guys, get it together, Angie. Here's the salt after they came out of the air fryer. Just a little bit of salt, and went in with that Parmesan cheese, and the recipe said put the Parmesan in towards the end. You don't want to leave that in the full cook time. So I literally stuck this back in the air fryer for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And here are the fillets off the grill. This meal was quick and easy. We had not had steak or anything on the grill for a while, so it really hit the spot. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate every time that you're here with me in the kitchen. So excited that today, when you're watching this, is the official first day of fall. And now if it can just start feeling like fall, I'm gonna be a happy camper. Next week, I've got some fun stuff coming up too. Fall is such a fun time to be in the kitchen. So many yummy things, seasonal things that I love to make, and I am looking forward to sharing those with all of you guys. Hope you're doing well. Comment down below and let me know if it's feeling like fall in your area, and I will see you next time. Good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise.